Hi guys, welcome back to Car Compulsion. It's been a while since I've put together a video. I have not been around on my channel for a good 4 or 5 months, just due to personal commitments, the pandemic, work-related commitments, and generally YouTube actually being a very difficult thing to master on a regular basis. I haven't been able to get round to putting content out. We're back out in my filming spot. Apologies in advance for any background noise. It is a lovely, or supposedly lovely, August day, but in typical British fashion, it is more like an autumn day. So it's about to rain, it is breezy, and I am surrounded by trees. So any background noise, apologies for that. I want to try and get back to making content on the channel. If any of you have ever dabbled in YouTube or anything like this, you'll understand that putting together content is actually a really difficult thing to do, especially when you're a low-level YouTuber, pandemic's going on. No one's interested in talking to you about cars or lending you cars, or no dealerships or in your pocket and helping you out with certain things. So you're kind of thinking all the time about content that you want to put out. Your mind's always working. And for these 12 or 13 minutes or even shorter YouTube videos, there's immense amounts of work that goes in the background. Thoughts, editing, getting things right, and it becomes quite consuming. And when I started YouTube, I didn't have aspirations of grandeur that I was ever going to be a multi-million-dollar subscriber, that I was going to be putting out all this high-level content several times a week. I did it for a bit of fun, and it became a little bit more, oh, what do I need to do now? I need to get more content out, and it can become quite consuming. So moving forward, I am going to start doing some videos again, but just as I wanted to originally, for fun. Going to put together some content on cars that I enjoy, things that I enjoy. There's going to be no promises, no clickbaity type stuff, because YouTube is done to death with all that type of content. So I am back to show you a new car that I have. It's a car that I've owned before. You will have seen this car on the channel before. I'm going to be keeping it for a little while until we purchase a new home. So it's going to be around on the channel for a little bit, and then it's going to be replaced with something else. But this was one of my favorite cars, and I'm going to enjoy making some content on it. So guys, that's where we're currently at. This is the current ride. Don't know how long it's going to be here for. I would think probably, hopefully, depending on situations around house moves, probably between 6 and 12 months, I would hope, and then I would look to replace it with something else. Mortgage companies are not particularly favourable of finance cars like this on your overall outgoings. It can diminish the ability to borrow on a mortgage quite significantly here in the UK. So it's not something that I'll be able to retain while I am in the process of moving house, but I do aim to get some stuff done with it before then. And if you follow the car scene at the moment, you'll see that BMW has announced the new 2 Series. They haven't announced the M2 yet, but you may have seen the new 2 Series, and I will do a video sharing some of my thoughts on that. I think that it's probably in a better place than the other M releases or the other releases of BMW have been, but there are some very questionable things going on still with that car. Initially, I'm thinking the front looks pretty good, but the back, I just don't know what's going on, what vision BMW are trying to take with certain things. The one thing I will say though is that the M240i version that they released in that plum sort of purpley type colour was absolutely gorgeous. That colour was spot on. I would love to see an M2 comp in that colour. That would be phenomenal. But yeah, it's BMW are making some questionable choices, and I think there'll be some videos around that, and we'll talk more around it. But there's a market for everybody, and I appreciate everybody has different tastes. So I bought this car secondhand. At the time, it had around 18,000 miles on the clock. Over here in the UK at the moment, there is a massive bump up in used car prices across the board, not just on performance cars, partly down to the availability of getting new cars due to the chip shortage and other factors, I'm guessing, linked around the pandemic. So probably paid a little bit more for this than I would have if I'd have bought the car around 12 months ago. Well, in fact, I know I paid more for it. Car's base paint, Hockenheim Silver, a very popular choice on the M2 competition, and not one I was 100% interested in, because everybody you see has Hockenheim Silver most of the time. So I was after a sunset orange. But actually, when I got out and I saw this car in person, I was so impressed with the Hockenheim Silver and how it looked different in different lights. I thought, you know what? I really, really like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. This particular car has also been fitted with the big brake kit. Now, I know there is some controversy around this. And the reason there's some controversy around it is because it's got such little clearance between the base wheel in there. There can be some marring or scoring of the wheels if stones get stuck behind those brakes. In all of my wheels so far, after 18,000 miles, there is no scoring or marring at all. It's something that I checked when I bought the car. I can tell you, after not having the big brakes fitted last time and having them fitted on this car, they really are good and they really are worth that extra price upgrade. So I won't go into immense amounts of detail on the inside because we've all seen them in my previous reviews. You've seen the insides of the car and a full review on the car. This particular model is fitted with the Plus Pack and the Comfort Pack. So you've got the electric memory seats, you've got the Harman Kardon and all the other perks that come with those two particular packs. I opted for the DCT box. It mainly suits my needs better as a daily driver. I use the car a lot. The manual's a fantastic piece of kit. I've been told. I've never had the opportunity to drive it, but I know that it's supposed to be really, really good and really engaging. But I think for me, the DCT box offers the best of both worlds. Yes, it can be a little clunky. Yes, it can be a little temperamental at slow speeds, but I don't think M-Cards really like to be driven in traffic full stop. They're always much better performing cars and much more composed cars when they're out doing what they should be doing, which is being driven not to necessarily to the limit, but you know, in a spirited fashion, shall we say. The outside of the car itself, lacking a few of the things that my old one had, missing a lot of that carbon that I got supplied from BMW last time. It was already on the car as it was a demo, but I had that carbon spoiler, diffuser, winglets on the side, and obviously the splitter at the front as well. Look at that disgustingly bad curb mark on the side there. I'd literally had the car not 2 weeks and clipped the whole side of the wheel. Luckily for me, someone's coming out on Friday night to take the wheel away and try and get it sorted. But if you've ever curbed your wheel, you'll know that devastating moment where time stands still. You hear that little scrape and you're driving to the next possible available area to get out and have a look to make sure it's not too bad. And when you get out and you see that you've done half of the wheel almost, it's absolutely soul destroying. With the wind picking up and grey skies afoot, it is going to rain incredibly soon. I would like to take you guys out just for a quick drive to tell you why I went for the M2 competition again. I had a few things on my radar at the time that I've loved before, the FK8 Type R, even the Leon Cupra crossed my radar, not the new one, the old shape one, because it's a hugely capable, cost-effective car to be able to have some fun with and definitely cheaper to run than an M2 competition. I also considered the C63 and to a certain extent the C63S, although price point wise for one with a reasonably low mileage and good spec, you're looking more towards the 50 to 55k mark as opposed to the 40 to 40 sort of 45k mark that the M2 comp and the original non-souped up C63 sit in. The car was always a really nice place to be. If you look at BMWs in general, I mean, the M2's interior now compared to the new cars, probably very, very, well, no probably about it, it's very, very dated. But this is a nice place to be. The seats have always been very comfortable, which is something that's important to me. But really what drew me back to the M2 competition was the driving factor. If you think about the car, little bit of back end there, that's one of the reasons that it makes it such an inspiring and fun place to be, because there's always an element of fear when you're driving this car at the limit, but there's also composure, and that's one thing that makes it really exciting. Another reason that drew me back to the BMW is best of both worlds livability. Yes, it's two-door, but there's a lot of space there in the back, and I do put my children in there from time to time when I permit them to be in the car, of course. And then you have the day-to-day livability. Boot's quite big. No, it's not particularly frugal when it comes to MPG, but you know, that's expected. In my opinion, the best cars have the ability to do two things. From an aesthetics perspective and from a looks perspective, they make you turn around and look at the car. They make you always turn back and have a look at where you've parked, or you're always having a sneak peek out the window. And they have the ability to put a smile on the face, like this. This car really punches. On the right bit of road, it exception if you're looking at pinpoint accuracy of the FK8, that really puts a smile on your face, really makes you feel comfortable, capable, competent. The BMW just does it all, and it does it all in such a great way. Another reason that I went back to the M2 Competition is because if you're a car lover, or and hopefully you would be if you're watching my videos, but you get that little buzz that just makes you want to jump in the car and go for a drive, and this is one of those cars where, you know, you really want to take it out. You might just be sitting there of an evening a bit bored watching something useless on TV, and you'll think to yourself, I could really be up for going for a drive, or one of your pals will turn around and say, do you fancy a drive on Sunday morning? And you really want to get in the car and take it out. And that is another reason that I went back to the M2 Competition, because it does make you feel like that. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video today. It's been 4 or 5 months since I put together any content, and the amount of mistakes I made today that you won't see get into this final cut tells me I need to get back on the wagon, and quickly. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. However, I learned the last time around that you get promised certain cars on the channel, certain interactions, and for whatever reason that can't happen. I'm promising that to you guys. You guys are in turn waiting for content. It then doesn't happen and you become unengaged. So once I've got good content, I'm going to put it out. If you're a new viewer, hit subscribe, hit that like button. Feel free to let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd want to see, and you guys have a great day.